That is going to be known in just about another 5 to 8 seconds or so as to whether or not the National Weather Service continues the thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning. I'm going to head this back over to Alex for just a moment. Alex?
Yeah, and guys, I'm just looking at for areas of rotation around, and I can zoom this out a little bit. You see that area of red there? That is a shade that we see probably close to 60-mile-per-hour winds right along the 66 corridor near Haymarket. That is moving eastward towards Gainesville. So even if there is not a tornado, we do have the potential for damaging wind gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour in this storm. And I can zoom out here, and it looks like the tornado warning has been allowed to expire as we figured, but still, this is a very strong storm moving towards Manassas, Gainesville area. This will continue to move to the east if it holds together. The one thing I've noted here, zoom out, I can put this in motion real quick, I can loop this. I'm watching this one cell here moving to the north from Warrenton area along 15. Now, as that kind of enters this area here, that's going to mess up the rotation and circulation. So that should really do a good job in weakening it some, because it's going to cut off the inflow into that storm, which is a good thing as it moves towards the more populated locations. Still, though, we have some very strong winds in this. I'm going to zoom in one more time, just kind of track it out as where we think the worst of it as heading at the moment. You see the strongest of it is approaching from Haymarket to Gainesville, eventually Manassas, and you can see the camera there on the right side of this. Whew, I mean,
yeah, Alex, we're gonna expand that picture, the live picture out just a little bit for you right now, so we can get a better look at 66, and you can see how, I mean, we've watched this shot deteriorate over the last 10 minutes or so. Before, you could see the lights a lot easier, and now it looks like traffic is definitely slowing down. Now, even though the tornado warning has come down, and they can take that off the screen because we no longer have a tornado warning, we are looking at a severe thunderstorm warning for that area. Now, severe thunderstorm warnings can cause just as much damage. You don't necessarily have to have a tornado to look at damage. Straight line winds cause a lot of problems with these gusts upwards of 70, 80 miles per hour, and we are going to look that to be the case as we move through the next half hour to 45 minutes. Once again, this is I-66 at Route 15 in the Gainesville area. And it looks like some folks are even beginning to pull over on the side of the road as this storm approaches from the west, excuse me, at around 15 miles per hour. So not a very fast-moving storm, but capable of producing a lot of rain, heavy downpours, and that's going to be the case for at least the next hour or so as this drifts on off toward the east. I'll step in for you right now. Our marker is still keeping up with a little bit of rotation. Now, even though you see this rotation marker here, doesn't necessarily mean that there's a tornado, and it doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be a tornado warning, because there isn't one right now. We often see these markers pop up on our system. It's very sensitive technology, and this is looking at the upper levels of the atmosphere as we move through the next actually, as we do live scans in this area. So the Gainesville area, that is the area that we're looking at right now for the potential for the strongest of the storm. And you can see that the traffic cameras are beginning to zoom in and out there a little bit, trying to get a better vantage point. So Gainesville, right here, this is where we are looking at the stronger storm at this time. Don't forget, we are going to see Buckland. You're also looking at stronger weather at this time. And the velocity, I mean, the wind speeds here at around 50, 60 miles per hour. So we're looking at strong storms. And keep in mind, we've had a lot of rain over the last week or so. Larger trees. It does not take a lot of wind to topple some of these trees. And once again, you don't have to have a tornado to topple a tree, just the straight line winds. We'll widen the view out just a bit for you to give you a little bit more of a perspective here. The district has seen hardly any rain yet. Showers are now beginning to move into Montgomery County, up toward Rockville and Gaithersburg, and up toward the Frederick area. Potomac, you're looking at wet weather. Fairfax City, this is where the stronger weather is now beginning to move into your area in terms of the heavier downpours and a lot of thunder and lightning. So this is the time to stay away from the windows. I know a lot of folks like to look at things to see exactly what's going on, but the tornado warning, need to stress, has expired. But even though the tornado warning has expired, doesn't mean that we're out of the woods yet, because we still have a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect until 7 o'clock. So Linton Hall until 6:39, if you can get close to your screen. Manassas at 6:55, Chantilly at 7:03, Montclair at around 7:19, Fairfax at around 7:24. So that puts us about another 50 minutes from now. But keep in mind that this storm does have the potential to weaken just a little bit, as we're looking at a cell that's that's going to ride up from the north, and that should help mix things up just a little bit more. But once again, looking at the strong storms, the strong thunderstorm that's over the area at this time. Prince William County still has the severe thunderstorm warning. Let's head back to the anchor desk.
Hey, Steve, and if you take a look at this traffic camera there, man, it is a rough Friday evening commute. Really, really difficult driving conditions. And we also wanted to mention, you said, you know, obviously it doesn't take a tornado to cause damage. We're already hearing reports, at least in northern Fauquier County, that there are many reports of trees down, that people in that area have been calling into the sheriff's department. So we're beginning, even though this storm is still underway, we're beginning to hear reports of at least trees down, and we'll see what other reports of damage we hear throughout the evening.
Also checking all the airports, and delays already right now from a half hour to one flight out of Reagan delayed almost 3 hours already. So if your plans involve trying to get out and catch a flight, one, obviously use extreme caution. Number two, check ahead. Go online and make sure with your airline and see what the time is in your flight, because there's a good chance that it may be delayed. Or if you're expecting someone to come in, also those flights also being delayed.
And everybody watching here on ABC 7, we want to remind you, of course, normally World News Tonight with David Muir is on right now. We're going to stay in our weather coverage because of the serious situation with the weather. We did have that tornado warning. It did expire about 6 minutes ago, but as Steve keeps saying, the conditions out there continue to be dangerous, and all you have to do is look at that traffic camera for 1 minute, and you understand how difficult it is outside.
And this, see, the one this shot right here will point out again. There's one car there just pulled over. I mean, he's got his flashers on, but he's not even trying to drive in it right now. That's how bad the conditions have gotten in this part of I-66.
And it is rough, you know, when you're looking at these straight line winds. When you pull over on the side of the road, I mean, you want to pull over for safety. That's important. But, you know, my gosh, you sort of want to be under an overpass to stay protected at this point. So, I mean, we can't really help these folks then, but just for the next time, if you do find yourself in one of these storms, the best time to pull over on the side of the road is under an overpass, and that's going to help protect you just a bit from the strong winds, the gusty winds. So, Gainesville, you're just on the edge of it as we head through and looking closer at Buckland. If you're familiar with the Beverly Mill area off 66, that's where we are still indicating a little bit of rotation, but once again, we do not have an active tornado warning for the area at this time, just a severe thunderstorm warning that is set to expire in just about 23 minutes, and that does include Prince William County, and you can see how that is freshly updated now, slowly moving on off toward the east at around 15 to 20 miles per hour. As mentioned, we do have reports that there are trees that are down in Fauquier County, and I suspect that as this cell moves on off toward the east, because everything is so saturated out there, that we are going to continue to see some damage. We will keep you updated right here on ABC 7.
Okay, Steve, thank you very much for that. And now it is just now 6:38. We're going to let our ABC 7 viewers join World News Tonight with David Muir in progress. But we will continue to follow this on our sister station, News Channel 8.
It's 3 to 4 inches on top of what they've already had, so flooding will continue to be an issue there right through the weekend.
A 1-2 punch. We'll talk to you about it more tomorrow. Thanks, Rob. Next to the trouble in the air, 2 flights making unexpected landings within a few hours of each other, both of them JetBlue, and both because crew members complained of feeling sick, possibly because of fumes in the cabin. ABC's Gio Benitez has more.
Tonight, mystery aboard 2 JetBlue flights.
You guys smell gas, right?
Diverted on the same day.
We had a nitrous odor in the aircraft. Appears to be a smoky type smell.
A flight from Boston to San Diego, landing in Buffalo. Firefighters boarding the plane. 2 flight attendants and a pilot were taken to the hospital. Video shows one of them getting oxygen in the terminal. Some passengers reported headaches.
It was really traumatic and anxiety-riddled and terrifying.
In South Florida, another strange odor forcing a flight from Fort Lauderdale to Barbados to make a U-turn. 3 flight attendants complaining of headaches.
Developing chest pain, somebody on oxygen, they said it's because of fumes.
They were all treated on site. And Cecilia, it's still not clear what caused the problems on both of these flights, but passengers made it to their destinations and JetBlue is investigating. Cecilia?
A real mystery there. Okay, Gio, thank you. In London tonight, an arrest making global headlines after this scene on a bridge. A jogger pushes a woman right into that bus. It was all caught on surveillance footage. London police arresting an American investment banker. Tonight, he is out, but his lawyer says they had the wrong man. Here's ABC's James Longman.
It's the viral video shocking the internet. A jogger appears to push a woman in front of a London bus. Look again at the man in the grey shirt. He runs along the sidewalk straight into a woman walking the other way. She falls into the road, the bus swerving to miss her just inches from her head.
If it hadn't been for very good reflexes on the part of the bus driver, or the level of force was such to push her even further into the road, almost certainly this could have ended in a fatality.
Tips pouring into police, who confirm they made an arrest Thursday in that May 5th incident. And tonight, attorneys for Eric Belkist, an American businessman, confirming he was arrested, but insisting Belkist is not the jogger, writing in a statement, "Our client has been wrongly implicated in this matter. He categorically denies being the individual concerned and has irrefutable proof that he was in the United States at the time of the incident."
Attorneys for Belkis not yet saying what that irrefutable proof might be. The police have confirmed they've released the man they arrested and no charges have yet been brought in this case. Cecilia?
Okay, James, thank you. Back here at home, there is a new twist in the Russia investigation. ABC News is reporting that congressional investigators now want to talk to President Trump's longtime assistant, a woman considered to be his gatekeeper, and they want to know what she may know about that meeting with the Russians at Trump Tower. Here's ABC's David Wright.
Tonight, congressional investigators tell ABC News they are eager to talk with the woman who's been Donald Trump's gatekeeper for nearly 30 years.
He asked me to call you.
Rona Graff, seen here on The Apprentice. Her official title, Senior Vice President of the Trump Organization, trusted with his schedule and much of his correspondence, although apparently not aware of the president-elect's first intelligence briefing.
Nobody knew, not even Rona, my executive assistant for years. She didn't know. I didn't tell her.
Her name mentioned in that initial overture to Don Trump Jr., promising high-level and sensitive information from Russian government sources about Trump's opponent, Hillary Clinton. I can also send this info to your father via Rona, the email concludes, but it is ultra-sensitive, so wanted to send it to you first.
We're also going to want to see, as referenced in that email, whether the president's assistant received any communication from the Russians.
Graff is not accused of any wrongdoing, but investigators hope she may be able to shed light on what her boss may have known. The Trump Organization says no one has reached out to her yet.
And David Wright joins us now from near the president's New Jersey estate. Rona Graff has been called the president's right hand, David. He notoriously does not use emails. She has been known to print those emails for him. So, David, what are investigators looking for?
Well, Cecilia, that's right. For all his fluency on Twitter, the president is not much of an email guy. And we're told that she would print emails out for his review and response. So investigators are hoping she might be able to provide some additional insight into his communications. As you know, they're casting a wide net. Cecilia?
They certainly are. And another twist in this investigation. David, thank you. And Sunday on This Week, George will have an exclusive interview with Anthony Scaramucci. That's his first interview since he left the White House after just 10 days on the job. We want to go overseas tonight to a horrific crash in Egypt. 2 passenger trains colliding. Take a look at this. One plowing into another that was stopped at a small station there. Cars knocked off the tracks. Others there in a tangled pile. 43 people were killed, making it Egypt's deadliest train accident in more than a decade. And now to a frightening scene in Austin, Texas. Take a look at this scare at a parking garage. A car plunging 7 floors, hitting a car down below. Amazingly, both drivers survived. ABC's Victor Oquendo with the new video tonight.
That heart-stopping moment of impact. The car plummeting nose first to the ground from this garage in Austin, Texas, flipping that building and slamming the back of another car on its way down. The driver mistaking the gas pedal for the brake, police say, plowing through the retention cables on the 7th level last month. Stunned witnesses rushing to rescue the woman who had serious injuries, but incredibly survived. Driver William Birch narrowly escaping.
Once I realized I was okay, I pulled forward, I put it in park and jumped out to go help that lady.
Tonight, serious questions about the strength of those cable barriers. Last September, another driver breaking through the steel cables of that same garage